Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everybody. We are from Group 1, and today we will be discussing about verb. Our member consists of Angel Kharisma, Dian Putri Rahayu, Dwi Indah Prastiwi, Ibnusyifa Setiawan, and Putri Nabilah. Our content for today are what are verbs, the importance of verbs, commonly used verbs, and the last one is exercise and examples. What are verbs? By definition, if it's a noun, it's a word used to describe an action, state, or occurrence, and forming the main part of the predicate of a sentence, such as hear, become, happen. If it's like a verb, one is use, or a word that is not conventionally used as a verb, typically a noun as a verb. Number two is any English noun can be verb, but some are more resistant than others. Basically, a verb is a word that in syntax conveys an action, an occurrence, or a state of being. In the usual description of English, the basic form with or without the particle to is the infinitive. In many languages, verbs are inflected to encode tense, aspect, mood, and voice. There are about 16 to 18 types of verbs in English, but we are going to be explaining like around 13 only. So the second one is the importance of verb. The importance of verbs. Verbs are very important for language development because they allow children to start building sentences. The choice of verb determines the grammatical form in a sentence. Children who use more verbs have more advanced grammatical skills. Most children use at least 40 verbs by the time they are 24 months old. Now, the commonly used verbs.
Types of verb. The first one is gerund. Gerund is a word ending in "n" that is made from a verb and used like a noun. The formula is present participle plus ing. The example, I love reading novel and comic. The second one is linking verb. Linking verb is a word that serves as connection between a subject and further information about the subject. Usually use feels, seems, like, smell, sounds, and taste. Example, this hamburger tastes delicious. And third is auxiliary verb. An auxiliary verb is used with a main verb to help express the main verb tense, mood, or voice. Example, she was waiting for an hour. And then regular verb.
Ini aku mulai. Regular. A regular verb is any verb whose conjugation follow the or one of the typical patterns of the language to which it belongs. Example, he called me yesterday. Irregular. An irregular verb is one that does not form its simple past tense or its past participle be adding r or key to the base form. Irregular verb contrasts with regular verb, which form the simple past tense and past participle be adding at or the. Example, eat, ate, grow. That's simple. I heard, heard, heard. Stative verbs are verbs that express a state rather than an action that usually relate to tone, emotion, relationship, sense, state of being, and measurements. These verbs are not usually used in progressive, continuous tense, even though they may like on time expressions such as now and at the moment. We use the simple tense for them. Common examples include be, have, like, think, prefer, understand, belong, talk, head, and now. Such as in the saying, we are what we believe we are.
The next is dynamic. A dynamic or VNT verb is a verb that shows continued or progressive action on the part of the subject. This is the opposite of a stative verb. Example of dynamic verbs in English are to run, to hit, to intervene, to suffer, to go. A striking feature of modern English is its limited use of the simple present tense of dynamic verbs. Generally, the tense is required to express an action taking place in the present. I'm going.
Lanjut, Indah.
Transitive verb. A transitive verb is a verb that requires an object to receive the action. Example, the speaker discussed different marketing strategies in the video. The verb discuss needs the object speaker to become effective. Next, intransitive verb. An intransitive verb does not take an object using an object immediately. After an intransitive verb will create an incorrect sentence. However, the remaining prepositional phrases or an adverb. Example, the students arrived at the residency in Houston. Incorrect, the students arrived at Houston. The second one is incorrect because intransitive verb cannot take object.
Finite verb. A finite verb is a verb that has a subject and shows tense. For example, John cooks carrots. The finite verb is cooks. The subject is John. The tense is the verb. The tense of the verb is the present tense. Non-finite verb. A non-finite verb is essentially the base form of a verb with the word to in front of it. For example, I want to visit grandma's house. I, 1 plus 2, visit grandma's house. Phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a combination of words, a verb plus a preposition or verb plus adverb that when used together usually take on a different meaning to that of the original verb. Example, Abe dressed up for the presentation.
And the last one is lexical verb. A lexical verb or main verb is a member of an open class of verb that includes all verbs except auxiliary verbs. A lexical verb, also known as a full or main verb, is any verb in English that isn't an auxiliary verb. It conveys a real meaning and doesn't depend on another verb. And the last one is exercises and examples. So this are some word example and exercise. The first one, the teacher is blah blah blah. The students this morning. Ini jawabannya apa ya guys? Apakah teaching, teach, teaches, or taught? Jadi menurut Angel jawabannya apa? Nomor satu ini.
Teaching?
Kenapa bisa teaching?
Soalnya kan kejadiannya hari ini.
Sedang berlangsung ya. Jadi, seperti gerund verb tadi ya yang sudah dijelaskan. Present participle plus ing. Okay, next question. Blah blah blah. You always get up early in the morning. Dwi Indah, do you want to answer this?
I think do.
Why is the answer do?
Because it auxiliary do for interrogation.
Okay. The third question is I blah 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 to bioskop last night. Dian, would you like to answer this question? Dian, hello. What is the answer, Dian, or anybody else want to answer this question?
Itu when?
Why is it when? Why is the answer when, Dian? If I can ask.
Karena tadi malam. Iya kah?
So it's karena dia tadi malam jadi pas gitu kan?
Yes.
So I went is an example of an irregular verb, I think. The last one is we blah 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 grandma yesterday. Putri Nabilah, would you like to answer this?
I think it's visited.
Why is it
visited
visited?
grandma yesterday?
Why is it
Because it
visited?
happened yesterday. Terjadinya kemarin.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that is still a question. Okay, did you blah 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 your mother last night? The answer is call. The reason why I didn't say called is because the question already said did. So if there is already a past verb, you don't have to make the other verb to. Example, did you eat last night? You don't have to say did you eat last night because the did is already in the past tense. Here are some examples that I'm talking about. Go, goes, going. Live, left, living. Live and left is an example of irregular verb. Eat, to ate is also irregular. Sleep, slept is also irregular. Read and read, there's no changes because the ending thing is already D. Made becomes made. It's also irregular. Play, played, playing, and die, died, dying. Okay, I think that's all for our presentation. Thanks for listening. Bye.